Hello, hello, and merry me. I'm Rowan Ravenwolf, and welcome to my channel. Tonight's live is Tuesday Tarot. Yay! So, tonight are one card readings. I'll also be kind of going over some tarot tips and tricks because if you don't want a card reading, but you want to learn a little bit about tarot, I have no issue sharing Tuesday Tarot. Welcome, Deborah. So welcome. I'll try to welcome everybody as I see them pop in, but I may miss somebody. So again, it's Tuesday Tarot. This is a spiritual safe place. I will have a couple panel members if they pop up. So it always helps to have a lot of intuition to help us get our most burning questions answered, right? So, but this is a spiritual safe place. So this is a judgment-free zone. So please feel free to, make any comments that you want. I do ask for no attacking on people. Your opinion can be completely different than someone else's. That's completely respected and welcome here. And if you're a bot, you're going to be banned right away. So bots are not allowed here. So all right, so I want to thank everybody. Thank you, Sophia and Manuel, for joining. So again, Tuesday Tarot, yay! All right, so I'm gonna start. If you have a question that you want a one card pull to, I have several decks here. I've got tarot decks, I've got oracle decks. So I just kind of go with my intuition if you have a specific question that you want answered, or if you just want a general. I can give you just a general reading. And I do have Lenormand. I'm going to pull out my oracle decks too. So Lenormand is another form of cartomancy. It's very simple, like this one. It's just the moon. There is a little bit, some of them will just literally have a picture of the moon on it. So I've got several different decks. I'm so excited. I'm going to do an unboxing of my new deck, the In-Between Tarot. This I'm really, really excited for. I'm not going to divulge everything so I can do a live with this one. Welcome. Okay, Jenna. All right, let's get you. Oops. Somehow I have oil all over my cards. I'm not surprised. Okay, Jenna, you have a question. So let's get to yours. You want to know about your love life. I'm just going to see if there's anything. Okay. All right. Your love life is what you want to know. All right. What does Jenna's love life look like? All right, Jenna, let's find out what your love life looks like. Ooh, we got the Seven of Swords. All right, so what this is telling me is that the person in your love life or yourself is not being completely honest about something. All right, so when we look at this, we've got these swords coming in, and it is all we've got somebody down here stealth, but this isn't as scary as it might seem. Now, if it was upright, I would tell you, not looking good. But see, we've got the sun down here. And when we have swords sticking in a stone, hypothetically, when they're upside down, they're going to fall, right? Gravity's going to help them fall out. So you need to be more open with your communication. So it's that sit down and be heard. And also listen to them. So you want to just be upright, say, hey, this is going on. Help me out here. So you want to make sure that there's truthfulness on the table. And I'm not saying somebody's being deceptive. They're just withholding. It could even be you withholding, because let's face it, sometimes we have things in our life that can affect us personally that we don't want to put all out on the table, but it can affect our relationships. And so that's really what I'm getting from this. So it's listen to them and you need to be heard. So there you go, Jenna. You just have a long conversation to come. Oh, I'm so sorry, sweetheart. Yeah, that's a tough one. That is a tough one. So, yep. He's holding something from you. especially since he abandoned you. He was holding something back. So, yeah, we have to, the cards always know. They know. So he was holding something from you. So if you want to continue and he wants to continue whatever he's holding back, he needs to tell you. You need to be open to listen. Tell him, I'm going to hear you. And then you have to make your decision from there on. Whatever is going on. But that's exactly, it's him holding back. I really felt like it was a him holding back. I didn't feel like it was you. But yes, it definitely was a him. So, all right. I hope that helps. And bright blessings. We can shift our energy and we can make things change in our life. Keep that in mind. It's really easy to be able to do. So, oh yeah. And it's hard. Even when it's just been a year, it's hard. But 7 years makes it even harder because it's very painful. So take care of you also. Self-love, honey. Self-love. We want to make sure we get that self-love and to make yourself healthy. That will help tremendously, even though sometimes when we're in it, it's really difficult to be able to say, okay, I've got to do this for myself. So yes, we do need to be strong. And oh, I love that Fun Bun. Earth is our home. Stay strong. Remember, you are okay. And you know, Fun Bun's really like that. That is a really good statement. Thank you for sharing that, Fun Bun. It is very true. Everything we need is actually here with us. And it's a matter of just balancing our mind, body, and spirit. So, heavy one, but you know, that's what we need sometimes, unfortunately. So I want to thank everybody who's joined, and thank you so much, those who have already given hearts and gifts. So, highly appreciated. And please feel free to share. If you're not following, make sure to follow. I'm here every Tuesday doing 1-card readings. Occasionally, my friend Bryn will pop up and Azrael will pop up. So, all good. But if you want a general reading, you can have your general reading. Just put general. If you have a question that is burning within inside you, please feel free to do it. I will pull the deck that is resonating with your energy that I'm getting. So I have so many decks. And then I got a couple new ones recently, so I'm very excited about my new ones. All right. I did want, while we're waiting, I did want to point out different things about different tarot decks. So tarot is really based off of some old Italian decks. One is, I thought I pulled it. Oh, it's on my shelf down here. Okay. The Visconti Tarot is one of the Italian decks. This one, it has like the overlay so my light hits it, but that's one. And there's the Marcel's deck that were printed in Marcel's, France. And actually what's really cool is the initial tarots were all hand painted on paper. There are some in some museums in Europe. So I know Le Louvre has some, and there are several Italian museums that have some of the initial decks. There was the Soro, if I'm remembering it correctly. I should have grabbed that deck. So, but we have, and this is what the Rider-Waite deck is based off of. So I'm just going to grab my Rider-Waite deck that I have right here. So you've probably seen the Rider-Waite deck. And it comes in every language. This is a deck I picked up in Europe, in Romania to be exact. So like now my new thing is, ooh, I want it in every language. So, I mean, how cool would that be, right? I mean, I have a couple French decks, but so now I've got some French and Romanian decks. So, back in 1906, Arthur Waite asked Pamela Coleman Smith to do the artistic work. So she did the drawings for the 78 cards for tarot. So these are based off the Marcel's deck, all right? And we've got some really great interpretations. I'm not going to go into those. But we have modern decks that are a little bit different. So I forgot to grab I was going to grab my Druid deck, but one deck that I grabbed was a Shakespearean deck. And this one was done actually, I think in the last 10 years. I don't remember the exact date. But see, this would be the Fool's card. And when it goes in order, the Lovers is actually the second card. So this deck has different cards. Let's see, that one is the Hierophant. That's right, the Hierophant is the third. And so this is really interesting because this whole deck is out of something from Shakespeare's works. So whether it's The Tempest or Macbeth or Romeo and Juliet. So it's a really fun deck. Yes, these are very beautiful cards. Shakespearean Tarot. So yes, if Shakespeare calls to you, I have several different Shakespearean tarot decks. This one is just really neat. I know in here there's the globe. Oh, look, I think I opened up to it. There we go. I mean, these are just really, really stunningly beautiful cards. So they're big. I mean, I have little hands. I don't read with them. But I do love this deck. So I say I could read with them, but I just kind of love them, right? So why I wanted to show this was because the full card is literally this first one, and the Lovers card is card number 2, and the Hierophant is card number 3. So they're not the same order as our Rider-Waite tarot deck is. There are a lot of decks that are like that actually don't even have the same deck, don't even have the same names. I mean, I have a deck that doesn't even have doesn't have wands, coins. Sorry, all of a sudden I'm blanking. Swords and cups. I have a lot of decks that are very unique and real. So one thing to keep in mind is somebody may say, my full card is number 1. Well, in Rider-Waite, it's 0. Some decks, it's card 22. So we will have variations and differences on the decks. And I wanted to just kind of point that out, that we do have differences in different decks. And the interpretations, we should be reading, if you're a reader or if you're learning to read, there's 3 ways to read your cards. Memorize your keywords, use your intuition, and use the symbolism. You should be using all 3 at the same time, especially when you go from deck to deck. Like my favorite deck that I love to use is this Shadowscapes deck. But my second favorite deck, I just had it. Oh, here it is. I hid it from myself. I love this Grand Lux Tarot. It's just got stunning and amazing pictures. And just look at the back, how fun this is. The back is just so fun with the gestures. So this tarot deck has just some very vibrant, fun pictures.
It's funny you pull out a deck that I also have, and I love that deck also.
Isn't it awesome? I have actually all his cards because I love his artwork. Ciro Machete. I hope I said that right. I probably didn't. So apologies if I said your name wrong. So let's see, Brenda, I read a normal deck of cards. They are my favorite. Actually, that is how I learned, because my friends and I were not allowed to have tarot cards. Our parents were very strict. So we learned with just regular playing cards. We'd play poker and then play minor arcana. So yes, so I wanted to just kind of show that there are some really intricate differences in a lot of the tarot decks. So they don't always start with the Fool. So keep that in mind, especially when you see people reading with something and you're like, wait, that might not be right. Anybody who does readings have been trained, and we know our cards. Wouldn't you say that, Bren? I mean, we have to. Yep. Twinnis. I also have, okay, I just got this deck, so I'm going to do an unboxing of it.
Oh, the In-Between Tarot?
Yeah. I took a class from her, and I was like, I need that deck.
And what's really interesting with that, with the before, the in between, and is it the after Tarot? Is it just called after? I think.
Yes. Yeah, there's after Turo, before Turo, and the in between. Yeah.
What's interesting with that is like you. I mean, if you want to get fancy with it, you can have like how each one represents one aspect of the triple: the youth, the adult, the elder. So even like doing like a 3 card spread and using each, wow, yeah, my brain's already like taking a hold of it and starting to figure out crazy things to do with it. How you can have like pull the first 3 to show how something starts, how it gets to its fruition, and then when it decays and grows into the next thing. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of creative decks out there. Very creative.
There are. I do a shadow healing deck. I do a shadow healing read, and I use my El Goliath tarot. So the question that I do with that is like what is holding me back is typically the question. Like, what is holding so and so back? Or I'll get more specific if I need to. And I usually pull about 3 to 4 cards, and then I actually pull basically it's the dark and light. So then I pull 3, depending on the reading from here, on what you need to do to integrate that into yourself. And there are really, I mean, like, there's so many options available. So I see that Brenda says, question, do you read yourself, yes or no? Well, my El Goliath tarot actually has a yes and no card in it. For yes and no's, I usually use my Nova deck, and I don't have it down here. I remember I was reading somebody's up there. So I have the Nova deck for when I'm doing readings for people, because the Nova deck has a bunch, and it's an oracle deck. So it has black cards and red cards. So the black cards are yes, the red cards are no. And then you can get like a little extra boost from it, like if you get the police or if you get like the hammer or whatever. So that's how I do my yes or no. So if somebody has yes and no, I usually grab my Nova cards and use the Nova cards for that. Brent, what do you do for yes and no's?
Yeah, well, for me, going for either yes or no, just in my viewpoint, it inhibits me. It's like yes or no. I can't be inhibited. Because if I have a card that comes out, like, say, like the Queen of Swords, which is this, in my deck, this is the Maven of Swords. Well, if I was to say yes, well, but it can also be a no. But either way, somebody's getting feisty, somebody's getting sassy, somebody's not afraid to tell someone off when they're not being respected. But at least how, like, I think also the question was asking if I was to, like, read just for myself, well, and using the same example, if I was to get the Queen of Swords, what I like to do is, if I feel that there's something a lot more deeper than just what this Queen of Swords is saying, I just go grab another deck. If I can just find where she's in Grand Lux. And I know she's depicted in this deck with a peacock, and she doesn't look rather aggressive. She just looks like she's on guard, ready to poke or slash. But in a way, it looks like she's more youthful than mature. But in a way, oh, there she is. Because in a way, when I look at her, honestly, the first thing I think is like, she kind of looks like Madame Zeroni from Holes, from the movie Holes.
Yeah.
Madame Zeroni.
Actually, I never really thought of it that way.
And interestingly, the peacock is associated with, of course, in Vedic, is associated with Venus, and it's also a bird that is associated with the ether element. But in Greek mythology, it's very closely associated with Hera. So having like these two variations of the Queen of Swords, like there can be one side that's saying be more aware of the mask I'm wearing and being in control of my thoughts, but then to not forget about my feelings. But then to also not be afraid to use, like, because with the peacock of it using its natural way of presenting itself, to not be afraid to use my appearance as a way of protecting myself. So the big main theme between these two is like a theme of using appearance to misdirect, but then to also protect. Just like an example, at least that's how I read. If I don't get what I need from two decks, then I would just grab a third one, which I don't have a third one close to me.
I actually grabbed way too many, so I have like a bunch. But I mean, like, here's my queen. I grabbed a queen while we were talking. Here's the Queen of Swords right here.
And that one looks like she's holding a ring blade, it looks like.
Yes. Almost like a bat'leth, but a little bit rounder.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've been watching too much Star Trek. Welcome, Azriel.
Blessings, everybody. I'm actually chiming in. I knew you came on, and Brent, I have to go to the college for ants. There's some ants in the college of DuPage that I have to go real quick. But I'm chiming in. I can listen in, and I'm watching, and I see Brenda down there in the comments.
Yes. So I was gonna Brenda put that she was taught we cannot read ourselves ever. So is this true? That's a good question. I pull daily cards for myself. I pull 3 cards every day. I either do mind, body, spirit, or I do past, present, future, or I do morning, afternoon, and evening. What I will say though is it is hard to read for yourself sometimes, because you might be like, oh, I'm going to get this promotion, and then you don't get it and you misread your cards because it's like too personal for you. So I will take a picture if I do something like that and do what is the actual real interpretation. If this wasn't for me, I have to like get out of my head to do it, because a lot of times it is harder to read for yourself. But definitely if you have somebody you can throw your reading off of, that helps tremendously. So, I know there's a lot of readers that will not read reverse. I actually know 2 readers that do not read reverse cards. Everything is always upright. And I do know people who will never do card readings for themselves. So, Bren, I don't know if you want to chime in on that too.
Well, for me, like I said, if I'm ever reading for myself, if I don't feel confident in what gets drawn, I'm pulling out something else that's the same card and looking just at the symbolism and then seeing how both of these perspectives of this one card are speaking. If there's a reoccurring theme of each of these cards, besides, of course, the card name, then that's like a foundation that, okay, this is going to be a most likely constant thing that's going to be a major theme that's going to be playing. But there's like minor variables, like with the Queen of Swords, having a more youthful way of presenting itself, and the other one was more in the darker way. The same theme of presentation, of how something is going to be naturally, is that same core consistency. So I would say finding the consistency between different decks, if you have them, and seeing what is the reoccurring theme that keeps being alliterated. That's how I would go about reading myself. Finding the same theme, but then noticing what is different and leave those variables possibly up to whatever comes out.
All right. Good question, Brenda. Another question. Do you clean your cards before you read a new person? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I have either a quartz crystal or a selenite crystal with each deck. Unless it's like right now I have decks spread out all over this little table I have. But I take, like, if I'm doing readings at events, I will actually use incense if it's an outside event. If it is an inside event, what I do is I actually will put Florida water on my hands. I'll rub it on my hands, and then I rub each card in between my hands to clean each card. Now, if I've got like a really long line, which has happened, where I've got to be able to get people in and out like this, and I'm inside, a lot of times I will actually just use crystals to cleanse them, and then I'll Reiki my cards. So that's how I do it. Bren, when you're doing readings, how do you do yours?
For me, well, because I like to use more of like depending on what I feel is the pull. Like, say, for example, if I feel like I need to use more air element, I'll just go. If I need to use more earth, then of course grab a crystal. Or better yet, when I have a plant that I'm taking care of, I take the container that the deck's in, put the deck in the container, then I put it right on the soil of the plant, and let it just sit there. And if it's for water, well, that one I'm very careful with. But I do have a mixed, it's not really Florida water because it doesn't have orange in it, but I grab that, then I just put it in the container again, and then or even also something like that. Then I just squirt it on the container. But for the fire, now that one I have done the cleansing with, and I'm still surprised this hasn't happened. What I do is I just have a candle going, and I just go right over the top of it.
Yep.
Flip, right over the top of it.
Yep. It's really easy to just do fire cleansing.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, when I'm set up outside, I usually will have a candle going, I'll have incense going, I'll have my crystals going, and I'll have my Florida water. So it will just depend how long is my line, how many people are in it. And sometimes, like, if I'm at an event and I'm selling crystals, I may have to, like, not do readings for a while if I'm getting busy selling crystals. So it really does depend. And sometimes I don't go, like, I'll go with cards, but I won't say I'm reading. And I'll have people, hey, do a reading for me. And I'm like, hey, you know what? Not busy. Good. But yes, there's like a lot of ways. You can also use salt. Salt is a really great way too. Mm-hmm. I actually have a wooden bowl because wood comes from the earth, and I have it filled with kosher salt. I'll either do kosher or Himalayan, but I like the kosher because it has been blessed by a rabbi. So it is blessed salt. And you can just put your deck, of course, you're going to have it in its container in the salt. And that's the same way that I cleanse the crystals too. I don't know if you've tried that, Bren, but that works really good too.
And I know this might sound a little strange too, but these little things that are like in certain, I think in like some kind of packaging where it's this gem silica that actually absorbs moisture. I put that with my Lilith deck, and that's what pulls all the moisture out of it. So really, that gets all the energy that's stuck, and it starts to pull it off of it. So, I mean, that's something that I haven't heard anybody else talk about. But another way that I cleanse my decks is it's so simple. Is I just have like a drawer or someplace dark. I just take the deck, I put it in there for however I need to keep it there. Then I just pull it back out. But then again, telling the dark, whatever's on the deck, just rip it right off, and then cleanse of it.
So, Brenda had another really great question. Look at this. You've got great questions. Well, Brenda, you always do, but you're on a roll tonight. So, do you read the cards or do you read the person? I find the cards are only a tool. Well, I'm going to tell you, tarot is never wrong. Now, it can be interpreted wrong. So that's where the reader may interpret it wrong. That can happen. We're all human, and we do have to tap into our intuition. Like with a new deck, like I will not do readings with this deck yet. I've not spent like my time with the deck to connect with it because it's literally new. So I know if I were to read with it right now, it's not going to be the best reading. People would be like, what? Right? Where if I'm like using this deck or this deck or this deck.
I like how on the bottom of that deck was the queen. Oh.
Yeah. So it's you need to connect to the deck that you're working with. It's all connected. It's the cosmos and the universe, and it's the divine coming through. It's a tool. We're the conduit, and it's a tool. Now, here's the thing. I can read people's energy. So when they do sit down, because I read auras, and I have seen people's auras since literally since I was really, really little. The first time I brought it up, I'm so glad I took it. And I'm going to just share this. So I told my grandmother, I was like 5 or 6 years old, and I'm like, Grandma, I see colors bouncing around people's heads. And my grandma said to me, she said, it's a special gift. Do not tell anybody about it. So I grew up in a very religious area, and very, very religious. And had I told my parents, I can only speculate what would have happened. This Lorraine Warren, I was older and I was watching a video, an interview with her, because most of you know she was a medium. And I'm watching this interview and she goes, yeah, since I was little, I could hear spirits and I can see people's auras. And she was like explaining the same exact thing. I'm like, oh, I have the same gift. It was like, really, it was just that, okay, I'm not the only one in the world, and it's okay to talk about it as an adult, you know? So I can read people when they're sitting across from me. But the tarot is tapping into a little bit more. So I can tell when somebody's not being honest with me by their aura. And I'm sure we'll let Bren and Azrael kind of pipe in on that too. So Bren, with that, are you reading the energy too while you're doing the cards? Are you able to? I mean, I can tell you.
Even when I read with a system that is not even tarot, like even when I read with just my children's playing cards, which is a lot of people tend to get whenever I read with these, because it's something that is more personal, because each of these cards represents something significant for just me. So it's really, in a way, tapping into mine and them at the same time.
Yeah. Yes. And thank you, Brenda. I do appreciate that. That's a very sweet compliment. Thank you so much. Azrael.
Yeah, I actually tap into the energy, not an invasive energy, but just the aura itself, feeling the individual out, feeling, if it's becoming, push, there's a specific way where negative, when somebody's telling you different, like you mentioned, you can tell when they're right or, they're lying to you or not. The same sense, so if, we could take a tool, a definition, and actually, I could feel the energy. I never really seen the auras, but I can feel the energy. And you know what? I'm going to try to tie it with aura colors. So that's something new that I'm going to actually delve into. But yeah, it's their energy. But the definition of the cards, like the tarot cards or an oracle card, it's what resonates with them, because of, the individual that's being read actually would put the resonance on these cards. So you can actually feel what resonance they're putting on the card.
Yes. That's why, when I'm actually doing readings in person, I actually have the person cut the deck so that their energy does touch the cards, because that does make a difference. But I can feel, and actually, if you can feel the energy, you can train yourself to see auras. So yes, I am pulling cards. So Brenda, if you want a general, or if you have a question, so in between pulling cards, we'll talk about any questions anybody has. But yes, I am pulling cards tonight. And welcome, Tanya. Welcome, Frankie. So welcome to everybody who's here. Thank you so much for the hearts. And I see a lot of people who've given gifts. So please feel free to give to us. And thank you those who have. And we love the hearts too. Okay. Yes. So, all right. Brenda has a general. I'm supposed to pull from this deck. And then we'll get to you, Elin Hager. Okay, so Brenda. The card I pulled for you, Brenda, is the Seven of Wands reversed. So the Seven of Wands, when it's upright, it's usually a battle. So you've dealt with either an internal battle or an external battle recently. Again, it's either internal or external. So it could even be with friends, or maybe you're scared to confront somebody about it. It's over. Like, you know the right answer. The right answer is right there in front of you. So you need to kind of go with your intuition and your gut, because it has told you what it actually is. You already know the answer. So you don't need to battle anymore. It's time for you to just take some time. And we've got like a lot here. You have the knowledge and the wisdom. It's right there at your fingertips. Bren, do you want to add anything? Because I know you pulled a card.
It's the medium.
Ooh.
And the medium in the card game, she's known, well, whenever your opponent has 4 or more cards than you, she just automatically just comes out onto the field. And just the way that she's drawn, if you notice how, let's see if I can get it to sit still. If you notice how she has her hands like completely up to the sides, her mouth is wide open, and she's just looking straight up. That is symbolic of being in complete surrender. But the Seven of Wands reverse is how, if when it's upright, it's like you're fighting something. But with it being reversed, it's complete surrender. But not surrender as in like letting go, but surrender as in surrendering to what is much higher, and surrendering in a way where it's more, I don't want to say like surrender for like a way of fearance, but like surrendering, knowing that something is truth and having no fear at all with it. So surrendering to what is real and the true as it is, nothing on top of it, and having no fear attached to it, knowing that this is exactly what I need to let go to, and allowing it to just come through. Because when that comes through, you operate in a way that can't be understood. But surrendering of the self needs to be done for it to materialize as it's wanting to. At least that's what I see.
And I love like those cards actually worked together. Every week. We're here every week. All right. Ileana Hager, you wanted to know if you were going to come into money. So I'm just going to make sure. Yes. And greetings, Candace. I'm glad we were able to help you, Brenda. So Ileana Hager, you wanted to know if you're going to come into money. I'm actually going to be using, where did my lid go? There we go. I'm going to use this deck. This deck I was really drawn to. I knew there was a reason I was supposed to grab this deck tonight. So it's probably your reading. And Brent has his handy too. Ooh, Judgment. You're going to get something, whether it is inheritance or you have like something in court, like small claims or something bigger. It is going to be in your favor. So, and we see all of this gold in here. That is, you have the wisdom, you have the knowledge, but you also, like, when it comes to money, that is gold that is coming your way. So yes, you will have something coming. I don't know how big it is or how small it is, but you will have something coming your way. Bren, did you pull a card too?
We need to pull another one for that one too. Okay. So, we got the Sacred Spirit. But then also the next one I pulled after that is the Strategist.
Ooh.
So, the Sacred Spirit. Now, the Sacred Spirit is known to be essentially you could even say it's every elder that is within the deck, but in spirit form. And what it does is that if there's another creature that's of the same archetype, which is of the ice barrier, it's able to remove an obstacle. But in order to remove the obstacle to whatever needs to be done, there has to be an element of strategy. But this elder, this sacred spirit, can point to, again, like was mentioned, inheritance. But to get this inheritance, there has to be some form of strategic planning and having to really think. But then while you're thinking, you have to be in a way where it's a bit, you have to be a little bit pushy, because you notice how he has his fan and he's like kind of pointing at something like, you're going to do this. Being a bit more pushy with it. But definitely the element of lineage or heritage is at play. So also doing some kind of work pertaining to like giving, what's that word I'm looking for? Giving homage or what is that word called? Renovating. Yeah, that was it. Renovating the ancestry and one's heritage. That also needs to come into play in order to gain that success of this windfall of increased money or finance coming in. Or even if we even flip it around and do it the other way around, even helping other people have a better understanding on how to prepare their wills, estates, and helping them understand what needs to be done, how to best write it out, how to make sure that everybody gets their fair share. The person that's going to be appointed to handle anything like that is given that clear understanding and how to do it, because believe it or not, a lot of people don't really think about that. And by the time they do even think about it, it's too late. Not a lot of time has gone into it. And even at that too, being having a profession as like a death doula, that it sounds so minuscule, but that profession is so desperately needed too. So doing that kind of line of work, even if it's something that pertains to like being like working in an assisted living facility, that can be a really good profession, because what you're doing is you're maintaining the heritage and you're caretaking to the elder. And when you caretake to the elder, all the other elders and all the other ancestries bless you for that. So that's really what I'm getting from where the money would be most likely to come from. Helping the elders and giving them helping them hand down their lineage to the next in kin much more easily, or providing that care to the elderly, if that makes sense.
And so it's a death doula, someone that helps you
like pass over, or even helping, like even doing something as simple as like being, or even also being a speaker for children or young adults, telling them that and reminding them that what they need to do to also help those that are retired, the elderly. You'd be surprised, even though sometimes I'll even fully admit it, I was one of them too. Even though most of the time the younger generation doesn't want to listen.
So it really, Ilana Hager, I like the theme here is inheritance.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that was the constant theme.
Mm-hmm.
And so you may have somebody else that
can help you organize that too.
Yes. And so it's something coming to you. So a doula may potentially be part of this that is going to bring this inheritance to you that you're not quite aware of yet.
And another thing that just popped in my head, I mean, that came in really loud. Oh, high hell. Oh, man, I mean, I heard that loud. And essentially what I heard was like, if there is somebody that is going to be coming to you to help you get what belongs to you and what you need done, speak up your needs. If you need something, you keep telling them until you get it. And don't worry about, well, I don't want to bother them. No. If you need water, you need water. You keep saying it till you get what you need. And push for yourself.
Mm-hmm. And it could be if it's not inherent, because inheritance can be collecting your Medicare and your Social Security. So if that's a struggle, it's coming your way. It's going to be approved. So, but I'm really, but see, that's your inheritance. You've put that in, but you may be getting inheritance from somebody else.
Yep, and being relentless in what you put in, you have to get back out. If there's anything that is playing against you or preventing you from getting it, be completely with it. And don't be afraid to get feisty. Be like, no, I put into this, I'm getting it back now. Yeah. Well, with this new policy, give it. Because when it comes to you and your survival, especially being disabled, that's not an option. You must get what's due to you.
Yep. And that is our inheritance. If you're in the States, our Social Security, we have paid into it. So, all right. Our next question, and Brenda, yes, actually, Bren has always had a blue aura.
Good.
Well, at least since I've seen you. It can change as we grow, but yours is very blue. So there was a question from Candace. Candace, I hope you're still here. Actually, I think I know how I can check. Yes, you are still here. Okay, so you wanted to know if your next home is a permanent home. So is the next place Candace goes permanent? Ooh, King of Pentacles. That's a big yes. That is going to be your roots. It's going to be your foundation. So let your roots settle there in your next home. Look at that. You're going to be at peace. It is going to be very grounding, and it's going to be a place of tranquility and love. Bren, go ahead. I know he's got one too.
And got the Pilgrim. And let's see if I can get it closer so that the glare doesn't hit it. But if you notice how, see, a little bit more to that. You notice how he's in that perfect state of Zen, and he's just having his hands together, and he's in full meditation. That is the same thing, Zen, peace. And the thing is, being a pilgrim, that can indicate somewhere that is long distance, or even better yet, a pilgrimage can be beyond just getting up and walking a long distance, or a pilgrimage can be going on a long pathway into oneself and being on this pilgrimage to go deeper within the self to come back home. Because coming back home to yourself, in yourself, is a different kind of home. So definitely.
Very beautiful. And I saw Ilian Hanger, yes, you can ask another question if you'd like. So we'll keep answering questions. Tanya, yep, you get a next one. You want a general. I'm supposed to actually pull from this deck. I love this deck too.
Grandma's. I'm going to grab a thing of water real quick.
Yep, you're all good, Lauren. So, you're welcome, Candace. Oh, thank you so much, Brenda. Okay, so we're pulling Tanya's first, and then I will pull Rihanna Hanger's next. So Candace, you're general. Ooh, we've got the 7. Yeah. Ooh, that's intense. Reversed. The 6. Right? Yeah, 6. Or no, wait, the 9.
That's the 9.
Sorry. Oh my gosh, I can't even. So, what is, like, we have a shield here. You've felt overwhelmed quite a bit. it's okay to release that. Let it go. We have a moon coming up. So our moon is on Saturday. Sorry, I had to think because I don't have it sitting in front of me. So it's a full moon is coming up. So you need to release this. You felt really overwhelmed. You felt like everything's been thrown your way. You're not defeated. Like, so when he's upright, we see some defeat looking here. All right. And like it's boxed in. But when we're reversed, it's letting go. It's just all letting go. It's just going to drip right off you and go away. You're ready to let go. And guess what? This is such perfect timing because of our full moon. Full moon is a time to let go and regenerate. So Brent, I don't know if you were able to.
So we have the Warlock. So now the Warlock, although it's in the game, it's one of the not the most strongest in the deck, but what the Warlock does is when she's on the field, she completely mitigates any type of spell cards to be activated. They have to be face down, and you have to wait a turn in order to use them. So really, again, with that theme of banishing, and if you even notice how she's being presented in the artwork, you notice how she has the wand out in front of her, and then she has her other hand to her chest. So in a way, she's like banishing something like that. So it's mainly, that's another thing that popped in. Because in the way, if you notice underneath her feet too, she has the circle, but she's still in the circle. So it's having that boundary drawn, pushing back against something, but then keeping one's integrity while pushing it. Because with the hand guarding the heart, that is protecting your life source, and the wand outward is pushing something back. So definitely making sure to double check within yourself, and then also defending yourself with whatever is being put onto you as an outside force, and pushing back and keeping your heart center guarded and keeping your integrity strong. At least that's what I'm really getting from it.
I want to thank Brenda and Azriel. Yeah, Brent and I actually, like the first time he came up and we started doing, like, we never even talked about it. We jump in, we do our readings, and we are completely in sync. The universe has connected us. So the universe was called Azriel, but no pressure, Azriel. I just say that because Azriel kept telling me, go on TikTok. And then he's like, go on TikTok. Oh, Tanya, you know what? Full moons are a beautiful time for releasing. Don't be scared of them. It's a matter of learning how to work with the full moon. And sometimes it does take practice, because keep in mind, the moon actually moves water. And I can't remember the exact percentage. We're like a lot. It's like 70 to 80% water. Mm-hmm. So it does move us a lot. So it does take practice. And then once you learn how to accept it and how to just go with it, it is so, like, you'll love it. You'll be like, yes, I need the full moon. Like, I look forward to the full moon. I look forward to the new moon. Like, even though we have a full moon coming up, like, I desperately need it, but I'm like, yeah, I also want the new moon, but I can't have both at the same time. But we learn to balance it. And sometimes balancing the new moon, the full moon, is learning what element you're lacking in to help you get through that. So keep in mind, the full moon is a lot of water. So you may have to ground yourself with earth. You may need to use fire to help you, or you may need air. And so you just have to get in touch with that. And it's easy. Once you figure it out, it is so easy. But feel free if you have questions. I help people balance all the time with that. One easy way to do it is pull your natal chart, go through all your houses, go through your ascension, go through your nodes, go through your moon and your sun. And right next to them, air, fire, water, earth, air, fire, water, earth, and then count them. How many air signs do you have? How many water signs? How many earth signs? How many fire signs? what you are lacking in. So if you end up having a lot of water, yes, then you need to go, which one is the least? Is air the least? Then you need to add more air. That will help you get through the full moon and appreciate the full moon and be able to embrace it. You have a lot of earth and fire, hardly any air. You need to embrace your air. That is so fun and easy to do because sometimes all it is just listening to music.
Mm-hmm. And even now, and another very easy, well, then again, you have to have your charting. I don't know where the moon is transiting, but say for an example, we're going to be having a full moon in Libra, okay? So find out where the sign of Libra is in your placement. So for me, Libra would be my ninth house. Okay, so what would be the ninth house? Okay, the ninth house on the physical body is the upper thigh and the back glutes. So you would take something like a stone that is related to the moon, in this case, like for example, blue calcite. Now you just massage. Whoops, wrong lever.
Sorry, baby. So black moonstone.
Yep. And then you just massage both sides a total of 7 times, because Libra is the 7th sign, and now the blue calcite is the moon. Doing it 7 times activates Libra, and any planets that are in there will also get that support too. But what you're doing is you're flowing with the moon. You're taking the moon, now you're putting it on the specific parts of the body, and you're massaging it that many times. You're keeping that energy, you're balancing it out on yourself. So, and let's see here, there's another way of putting it. So, just to do like a really quick recap, the first house is the top of the head, the cranium. The second is the face, the throat. The third is the hands, the fingers, the wrist, the arm, and the shoulder, and also the lungs. The fourth is the chest. The fifth is the diaphragm area. The sixth is the intestines, so it'll be around the stomach. The seventh is the waist and down a little bit. The eighth is that spot. The ninth is the upper and back leg, and then the 10th is the kneecap. The 11th is the kneecap down all the way to the ankle, and then the 12th is the feet. So, yeah.
Thank you, Brenda. I saw, okay, Aileen Hanger, I also saw your question about when you were going to move, so I'm going to pull a card for that. And you can go ahead and put your question for Azrael. So I'm going to pull your card of, and I want to make sure I have your question right. So I'm going to scroll through. So bear with me, everybody. And Brenda, thank you so much. I've actually been studying crystals, herbs, astrology, witchcraft for quite a while. And I teach classes, but literally my husband's like, do you take a break? Because I'm either teaching or taking a class. I'm here learning too with the spiritual community. So I wanted to just make sure I have the right, it was like moving, and I think I went past it. I think I went way past it. So, all right. Yeah, I know it was like, will you be moving soon? So will you be moving soon? I'm using Lenormand because I feel like we need a more direct answer. Ooh, we got the birds. You will be moving soon. So what's really interesting here? Brent, guess what number we have?
7.
Yes. So it's going to be either in 7 days, 7 weeks, or 7 months. So you will be moving. Okay. Birds are transforming. They're changing, and it's going to be 7 days, 7 weeks, or 7 months. So, thank you so much, Azrael. So, Azrael, I don't know if Ilana Hanger put her question in for you, but she does have a question for you. But Bren, if you want to go ahead and answer, and then we'll let Azrael answer the question that she has.
So what I got is
the geomancer. Is it in the comments?
I don't think I saw it yet. So, Illy Hanger, if you can put your question for Azrael in the comments, and then Bren, go ahead and finish.
So the Geomancer, well, in the Japanese original name for this monster is the Feng Shui Master. So now the art of Feng Shui is very similar to Vastu, which is the Indian version of balancing out the home energies with having certain things placed in a certain direction, certain things like a mirror being put in front of like a window to fix that extension. But what this is telling me is that when you move and when you relocate, make sure that you are taking into account of the environment where you're moving to. Is the environment in a position where you feel this is comfortable? And trust how you feel when going into it. If you feel something's off, don't go into it. But most importantly, if you do know about anything pertaining to Vastu, ideally, now again, Vastu can be used to balance out any home, and there is no such thing as an absolute pin perfect way of having a home be perfectly aligned in Vastu. Because if there is any way to do that, you would drive yourself mad. However, though, certain things can be done to balance it. But ideally, if the front door of the home that you walk in, if it is facing in the east direction or north direction, you're golden. Because the east is where the sun comes up. Sun always rises in the east. So if you're walking into your home going into the east direction, you're walking into blessings. Now, if it's in the north direction, that is the direction related to the moon. And when you're walking into the north direction, you're walking into the energy of home. You're walking in the home, walking into the direction where the money flow comes in. When you have the direction of south, that's the direction of Mars, where they could get a little heated, a lot of movement, a lot of energy there. But if you're walking then into, like, say, if it's in the west direction, now again, the west direction is ruled by Saturn, but so the west direction, you'll get the desires and fulfillment of them, but you have to put in a lot of investment in it. That's the only thing about the west direction. So ideally, north, east are the two directions you want. But if it's west, you just had to put in more work. Mars, if possible. If not possible, then what you can do is take a yellow piece of tape and then just put it right around the base of the door, like the base of the door frame, when you go into the front door. That'll help calm the Mars energy down.
We just gave you a lot. So that was all for you, Ileana Hanger. And if you have a question for Azrael, put it in there, because Azrael, you're up to help out. So hopefully the question will pop up soon.
A lot of people don't know. A lot of people don't expect me to go into such detail about Vastu Shastra. People don't expect it.
I always try to get a front door facing east. Always.
Mm-hmm.
I have to be picky about it.
There are so many little tricks and little things you can do to correct the energy, and you wouldn't expect how, like, there is a certain remedy that my mentor taught me. What was it? It sounds so weird, but it has always worked. What is it called? Which one is it? If you're wanting to help, like, correct the energy of, what was it? It has, like, say if you have in, like, the north direction, you have, like, a toilet, like a bathroom in the north direction. Well, every time you flush it, all the wealth is going to go flush down the drain. So to correct that, what you would do is you would take, it sounds so weird, but you would take the element of, what was it? The green, and then you would put green tape around the base of the toilet. Because what that does, it brings that energy of wealth already there. So when you flush it, that's the first thing it grabs. So that helps balance it out.
All right, Azriel, the question's there for you. What energy do you feel from Ilyana Hinger?
Getting like a pinkish energy, so I think there's a balance between love energy. Hold on a second. Come here. Oh, yeah, so she's over here. She got scared when I picked her up. So I'm feeling kindness, love. So I'm picking up not quite a red chakra, but more of a pinkish aura from you. Um, Yeah, see, I'm wearing bright pink. So, I think you're comfortable. You're comfortable in that love and kindness. So in other words, you're giving out what you want to receive. So you're actually resonating with that energy, that pinkish energy. It's not quite the red like in love, but I see it in the pink, you know. Hey, Jen Jones. Yeah, I was just at the college. Sorry about that, guys. As far as anything else that I'm feeling from you, I just feel that there's a lot of uh, open up to you. In other words, you open up to a lot that you're seeing that there's more than what you thought. So in other words, you broke away from some specific chain. You're breaking away from something that was keeping you back. So now you're finding that love. You're finding that compassion, that wanting of energy. And actually find emotional balance has been restored to you. A lot of well-being, for yourself. If that makes sense, I, I hope that works. And I just got home. I still got my jacket, so I'm trying to settle in. But thank you. I hope that helps out.
We'll let Azriel take his jacket off. Ooh, there we go. Bren, a question for you from Brenda. How long have you been reading cards?
Oh, I would have to say I got my first deck all the way back in. It was the early of 2016, but I didn't really start reading until I began learning from my mentor, which was back in early November of 2017. And yeah, I was taught up until his last breath, which was 2 years. So I would have to say since then. And most of the time, whenever I read anything from this, even like crystals and stuff like that, I just let it just flow through. I don't stop. I don't hesitate. I just let it just go through.
Yeah, I kind of do the same. It's like I just open the channel and go, okay, so now how about me? So I dabbled in high school with playing cards again. So I know Candace is from the same religion, so the same cult, I should say. Um, there was no way I could have tarot cards when I was in high school. But when I went away to college, I bought my first tarot deck. I did give it to my roommate when I went back home for the summer because I knew what my parents would do with the deck. She still reads with that deck. But then I didn't read for a long time, but I started really training and I got certified as a reader. It's been 10 years. So I've been a certified reader for 10 years instead of just dabbling. So I do think that a lot of like my clairsentient gifts and my gifts to see people's auras did help me very easily grasp the tarot. So, yeah. So, all right. If there's any questions, please throw them out there. We'll do card readings, or if you have questions about tarot in general, we are here. Didn't know that existed. Oh, like tarot certification? Yeah. I actually teach tarot certification classes. Actually, Azriel took my tarot certification. So he is actually a certified reader too. So.
And I have about 6 certifications in Vedic and Western astrology, and I specialize in the synastry and relationships. That's my specialty.
Yeah, so there's a lot of like great ways you can get certified in things. Like I'm a certified UC Reiki master teacher. I'm a certified Sasekam Sahu Reiki master teacher. That's Egyptian Reiki, with the goddess Sekhmet, who one of my loves. I'm a certified crystal healer. I'm a certified herbalist. I'm a certified aromatherapist. So yes, you can get certifications in about anything. Some countries it means more than others. Like if I was in Europe, my aromatherapy certification is absolutely like the bomb. Here it's not so big, but you know. So yeah, you can get different types of certifications.
Yeah, like the ones I have for Vedic astrology. Well, in India, it would be seen as like really revered because that's where it comes from the culture. But to get a certification in Vedic astrology, I mean, you have to know their texts. You have to know them, and you have to understand what they're getting at and how certain hymns to a certain planet and a certain mantra to a certain planet facing a certain direction at a certain time of the day. You have to be able to understand that theme of like, okay, what day is it? Where's Chandra, the moon at? What phase is he in? And what direction are you facing? And what's this person's chart? All those little specifics. I mean, it gets so specific, but when doing it with Vedic, because that's your helping somebody understand their karmic cycle, and then when you're tapping into that, you have to look at all these little variables because all it takes is just one whoopsie, you hinder somebody.
Yeah. Yes, and a lot of them, like I'm studying druidry. I'm just a bard. Bard is like the beginning level, but like a lot of that, you have to have ceremonies memorized. You have to like, so there's a lot of work and a lot of the certifications that you go through. I mean, I was like telling somebody recently, they were like, how much time and money have you spent? And I'm like, hours. I'm like, this is just part of my life. I work my job that puts the roof overhead and pays for classes, and then I jump in and I do my studies every night. I teach and I jump on here when I can. So, but it's something that resonates with me and is important to me.
And I could vouch for you. I know you long enough to vouch and say, that is you 24/7. Yes.
I'll even wake up at 1 a.m. with like an aha moment where I'm like, oh my gosh, if you do this with the chakras, you can. And then I start writing ideas, and my husband will be like, oh, okay. Because I literally keep a notebook on my nightstand. So, because I do, I'll wake up, write it down, and then go right back to sleep. It's kind of funny, but yeah. So great to see so many people in the spiritual community. Welcome. I see Vinny joined in, and so many beautiful people here tonight. Thank you for everybody who's liked. Please make sure you like if you haven't. That's like a nice way to do this. I love this. You guys are the next generation to this way of life. It is so true. And actually, I have to I'm going to shout out. I'm not going to give my granddaughter's name. She's very little, but she loves crystals and rocks. And it was really cute when she was really little. She kept saying to her mom, my daughter, she kept saying, I want rocks. And when I say really little, she wasn't even 1 yet. And then she found, I had given my daughter some crystals for her wedding to have on her because she was a little bit stressed out with some stuff that had happened. And so I did a whole ceremony and gave her some crystals, and my granddaughter found them. And she's like, okay, fine, but you can only touch them when I'm with you. And now she's hugely into crystals. So when she was 4, my mother was not doing well. My mother did end up going to the other side. And we were there as a family to do a celebration of life and a goodbye. Because she's not in the same state. And so I took my granddaughter to a crystal store together, and she's so intuitive with the crystals. We're walking around the store, and she goes, Grandma, you need this crystal. And she grabbed me a purple jade. Purple jade. Yes. Brent already knows.
Oh.
I was having a hard time. I was keeping it together when I was with my nieces and nephews and my granddaughter, of course. She goes, Grandma, you're supposed to have this. You need this. Literally, that is how she said it to me and put it in my hand. And the energy was just so beautiful. And I was like, okay. And I walked over to see where she had got it because I was like, okay, it doesn't look like this one. And I was like, oh my gosh. Because I was like, she grabbed me purple jade because I didn't even notice the purple jade. And to be going through what I was literally going through at that moment, because my mother ended up unaliving 6 days later, like that was profound. Like, so when I just went out in January with her and we went to the crystal stores, she has this beautiful talent. And so I literally told my daughter and my son-in-law, I said, do not hinder this because she has this strong, strong gift. So, yes, we have a new generation coming, and the spiritual community here on TikTok, there's a lot of beautiful spiritual, like I'm a pagan and a witch. I'm a practicing witch. The community, the occult community in general, the spiritual growth is just amazing. But the spiritual community here in TikTok is absolutely amazing. It doesn't matter what age you are. We are in the age of Aquarius. This is the age of technology, but it is the age of spiritual growth. More of us are going to ascend and reach enlightenment. So, like Azrael says, I say it in my classes all the time, take notes. Yes, thank you. Oh, I have that book too. See, small world. We're all synchronized together. But take notes, because if it doesn't resonate with you today, it might resonate with you tomorrow. Bren, do you want to share about like purple jade? Because yes, it's amazing.
And without even reading from the book first, now when we think of jade, we think of green. But now when we look at the stone jade, it's a green stone generally. However, jade has connections with the Aztec, or is it the Mayans? Aztec, because it was part of like their adornment of like the gemstones, crystals there. But for China, it was associated, of course, with the Jade Emperor, and jade was really tied with ancestry work, and jade is known to be used to give homage to the deceased, and it's also a stone related to luck. But when we take that component and then we add in that purple to it, the color purple is a color that is the merging of red and blue, the zesty energy of red, but then the calmness and coolness of blue. It sounds like it would conflict, but what we get is we have an energy that is moving, but then blue, which is healing and restorating. So it's this energy that is able to flow. But when we have an energy that can flow, it's able to have this thinking process, because with the movement of the healing energy and then the movement coming together, you would think that, okay, so how we're going to be having this flowing energy of healing when we don't have something that it can actually manifest into? That's when it goes into the spirit. Because the spirit can always flow, but it gets inhibited by the 3D. So when you're having that come together, it's the energy of healing the ancestry and healing one's ability to keep like a heritage going, or keeping their spiritual connection flowing if it's been hindered. The purple jade helps in keeping like lineage, family history, and a culture's history able to still flow and still being able to expand and having that better understanding. At least that's my interpretation. But when we look at it from the book, it says it has a sense of humor, spiritual knowledge, and attunement. It's associated with the crown, the third eye, and then the earth star, which is under the feet. It aids in, protects the emotional body of sensitive people from energy pathogens, and it helps regulate the auric field, enhances dreams and visions. it's the stone that fills one with mirth. Oh, that's a new word. I've never heard that word before. Mirth, and happiness is excellent for purifying one's aura and dispelling any negative attitudes that hold oneself back from the spontaneous joy of life. There's a lot of humor invoked by this stone, and it enhances one's appreciation of the perfection of the divine order in all things. Purple jade is an asset when worn or carried by almost anyone, especially those who need to lighten up and relax into the flow of life. Purple jade can aid in one letting go of self-imposed limitations and in maintaining one's awareness that the abundance of the universe is able to oneself. And that does kind of connect with like what I was saying, but how it said the divine order of things, that can be symbolic of like you have like the natural order of life. Something is born, it grows into like a youth, it becomes an adult, and it becomes an elder, then it passes away. So having that align with like how the granddaughter was saying, oh, you need the stone when going through that passing of someone, that connected with it beautifully.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and she has this gift. So if you have a little one in your life, feed that gift, help them find that knowledge. I mean, literally, I have got my granddaughter, like, I bought her like easy books, but now I'm literally giving her big metaphysical crystal books because like it's just going. She's ready for it, you know? So, and you know, like I have a friend whose little one, he can talk to spirits. So, she'll be like, hey, can we come walk in the cemetery with you? And I'm like, yes, because this is how he can practice that gift that he has. So we want to encourage this because this is how we become enlightened. And this is how we can spread this love and compassion that our world so desperately needs. It has needed it for many centuries, and we really need to spread it. And that's where spirituality comes into place.
Okay, so for the north direction, you would want to have the color of like a light blue, and making sure that direction is completely clean. And if possible, okay, so then, and if possible, you would want to have in that north direction, what you can do is if you have an image of, let's just say, like a riverbed or a stream, like a flowing stream, and if it's coming towards you in the artwork, like say, if you have like an image of somebody sitting by a riverside and the water is like flowing towards them, that would be somewhat like the direction of like how you can see how a painting has like water flowing to the left, water flowing to the right, or water coming up like that. But you don't want water coming up like that because that would be crushing you. Like if somebody's sitting in like a riverbed and the source of the water is flowing towards them, like that's not going to go over them, but enough that where they're like sitting in the water and it's going past them. An image like that over the door in a blue frame, that'll help bring more wealth to you. And even if, and also having a fountain too, and preferably if it's not broken, of course, but if you have a fountain, if you put it in that north direction, what you're doing is you have the water element, that flowing element in the north direction, and the north direction is related to wealth. So that north direction having that flow of wealth, and if even it's a small fountain, that fountain is recycling itself. That's wealth coming in, coming out, coming in, out, coming in. So you'll have that steady flow of that fixed income coming in, and it'll be able to preserve you and keep the flow going. But if you want to expand on that, that's when you would want to go towards, like, say, going then towards the west direction. But then that one you would want to add more elements of like the west direction. You would want to get like an elephant statue, preferably made of brass. But if you don't have brass, that's perfectly fine. Even if it's like one of those small elephants, like if it's made in, say, quartz, that's just as good. Have it facing the west direction and make sure the trunk is pointed upward, because a trunk pointing upward, that's a sign of victory. And having it face west, that's you're having the elephant in victory stomping out the obstacles that are in your way towards your desire.
She also asked if she could have a sketch, and you know what? You can.
Yes.
You could even have a picture, like if there's like
Yes.
an amazing waterfall that you love, you can have that. Or if there's like you happen to like the Snake River or the Nile River, you could have a picture of the river, but you want something that's going to move. So I wouldn't go necessarily with a lake. Lakes do have movement, but they're very mild movements. You want to go with something like the ocean or a river, something that's going to have a lot more movement.
And when you face the same way as the door, you're look at it this way. So if you have the north, well, when you're looking for Vastu, the front door of the house, that has to be in the direction where you're going to be turning and facing in. So for an example, if you're, like say, if you're in the house right now, if you look, you see that the house has the door facing the north direction, that would be the north way. Because you're coming in that direction, the north. But when you're going to be going out of it, then you'd be going out in the other direction. So it would still be the north direction. And even at that too, you can sketch, you can draw. But when you draw, the most important thing to do, as soon as you draw something, put your signature down at the bottom of it. That kind of like makes it official.
So I saw you said on the compass. I have never been good with compasses. My grandpa taught a couple of us to watch the sun. So I actually watch the sun. I do everything off the setting, the sun, and then when the North Star comes out, like I literally can find my directions that way. You hand me a compass, I'm gonna get lost. So if it helps, the sun always rises in the east and it sets in the west. So that's like the easy way to like check it. Now, if you go outside and it's the middle of the day, you can actually, yes, you can make a sundial. I know how to, I cannot use a compass, but give me the sun and give me the North Star. I'm good.
If you ever need to figure out which way is east and west, just look at where the sun's at, okay?
Yep. Yeah, so see, that helps. You're northwest, so that will help. So then that will kind of help you get that orientation. So yeah, like when my husband first moved here, he was used to mountains. And when I say here, Azriel and I are in Chicago, there's no mountains. This is the Midwest, so it's flat. And it's, so you can't see anything. It was like, whew, I'm so glad I know where the North Star is and where the sun is, because it took me a bit. But yeah, like my husband was like, oh, and he was like, oh, okay, yeah, I get it. He goes, that's easy. Like I just did a quick lesson, and he knows his way around. He knew his way around within a year after learning my little trick. So
there was something that I learned from television where you can actually get a eraser from a pencil, the eraser tip from the pencil, and you can actually poke a needle right through it, and you put it in a little cap with water. It'll actually point magnetic north.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
yes.
That's something I do remember as a kid. Yes, you could put a cap of water.
I could do that. Don't give me a compass though. maybe also because I think the first compass I had broke too, so that might also be the problem. But
There was
it's really funny.
Go ahead, Brent. Go ahead.
What's funny is that the compass, you take that and now put it next to an astrology chart. That compass is an astrology chart.
yes.
And the best part, if you're really advanced, if you really want to get really fancy, why not? Let's be extra fancy. So say you have your ascendant at 8 degrees Aquarius. Okay? You look at the transit currently at play. You notice that right now it is the Aquarius, like it is in the Capricorn ascendant. So it's not until the next sign over. So now you have to figure out, okay, go directly east. You're now facing Capricorn in that direction. Now you want to face for your ascendant. Okay, where's your ascendant? 8 degrees Aquarius. So you go 30 degrees to the east, 30 degrees to the east, and then you go another 8 degrees, then you'll be facing underneath your ascendant. And then that's when you would do your specific mantras that is associated with that part of Aquarius, which would be Subchakra. You do that specific mantra at that degree.
Oh my God,
That's how you get really pinpoint. But my moon is also on that point of my ascendant, so that's the same direction and degree where I would be doing my mantra for the moon and the ascendant right there.
Okay,
Activating.
I first of all, you two are amazing. Thank you so much. I'm going to tell you a little story, but I have to ask Bren, because as you were telling me again how to do it, I was typing in there. Wait a minute, I'm confused how to read this compass. So I wasn't getting what you were telling me, because all of a sudden I saw there's an arrow, and I'm like, wait, should I be reading the arrow, or should I be reading the place that the way that I'm facing? So it's the arrow. So I apologize. I need you to tell me what again I need to sketch, because I'm old, and then I'll tell you a quick story. I'll leave you guys alone.
Okay, so if we're looking in to bring in something in the north direction,
make it easy. Don't make it difficult.
okay, north direction, something that is like a flowing of water coming towards you, the viewer. So, for an example, so say if you want to make a river that's flowing to you, you would have like the river flowing.
Okay, can I make a wave coming in?
Yep. So like how looks so weird, but you see like how the water is flowing to this person that way?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Okay, so is that going behind my door?
No, but it can go over the top of the door frame, or you can even put it. You can put it in a frame above the door, or if you want to be really practical with it, what you can do is you can fold it up into a square, and then you take it, fold it up, and then you would just tuck it in the door frame. It doesn't have to be perfect in there, as long as it's in that direction. Or even better yet, if you have a doormat, put it right underneath the doormat.
Okay, so I have another question. I actually live in a garage. So the door that gets to the outside is the one that's north. But the door that's in front of me, which goes into the garage, is... Oh, it's still north. Never mind. Maybe this is not working. Are you sure I'm supposed to look at the arrow?
Yep.
It hasn't moved.
Because if you're...
This should not move. It should move from one side to the other, right? Oh, now it is. Hold on. So facing my door to the garage is west.
Okay. So if it's west...
So no, my question is, should I be doing my door or the door that goes to the outside?
It should be going for the door that goes inside. Because when you're stepping into the garage from outside, you're entering in the east direction then.
Yes. Yeah.
So then, that would be then the east direction. So then that flow in that direction, instead you would want to have it kind of facing. Get that out of there. You want that flowing then to go into this, like this way instead. But as well,
bring it up again. Flow water.
Have the flow of water come towards the east, but then you would also want to try and add like the sunrise to it.
Okay. With sun. Okay. All right. So, Rowan, you're a little older, but I'm still older than both of you, much older. And yeah, that picture's a little when I was a little younger. I've been doing this with this gift since I was 13 years old, and I'm now 65. And, back then it was very hush hush and taboo. But now this awakening, you guys are blowing me away. I cannot believe how wonderful and so, like, in my way is, just talk to the dead and they tell me what to do. And yours are very in sync, and I love it. I'm so impressed by you guys. And the shit that is blowing me away. And I'm really taking, and all this stuff, all these years that I've been doing it the old-fashioned, reading a fortune kind of way. And I'm very gypsy in many ways. I love this new age. This generation is just taking it to a new level, and everyone that I see, not just you two, I have to step back and like, wow, I'm really wowed by this. This is a beautiful thing, and I hope it continues. And I think I'm friends with both of you. Yeah. So
I think also most importantly too,
Azrael,
is that we also need to preserve those old-fashioned ways in order for us to progress even further. Because we don't have the olden ways, the ways that were things originally done, we will not have a strong foundation.
I'm not that old. You're talking about Celtic.
Oh, we're talking centuries. It's like with I embraced traditional witchcraft, and I incorporated my ancestral magic, which is heathenry magic, or the Norse pagan, and Celtic magic. So I do a combination of the two together because that is where my ancestral comes. It's also where I was called.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I really started diving deep, I realized a lot of my magic, even though I didn't have family from Cornwall, England, but I had family close to Cornwall. This is really the only place that a lot of it has been passed down for generations, because when the burning times came, and the burning times was the witch trials, for those that don't know, a lot of pagan traditions were lost. So we do have to work with our ancestors, because they have all of this wisdom. I mean, they used herbs for generations for healing. A lot of and crystals were used, and so we have to embrace this. And this is what the age of Aquarius is. But so yes, we have to.
100%. Yeah, and I see it. I also mentioned that you see auras, and I see auras not all the time. Sometimes my father used to say, when your light is up, when you're bright, that day's the day that all of a sudden, some days you're more in tuned than others, right? So I also see auras, but not today for some reason. But yesterday I was seeing auras all over the place. And guess what? I was in my sister's kitchen, and I was cooking, and to my left there was a gray, and I'm like, what the hell are you doing in here? And then poof, it disappeared. I go back to doing my kitchen stuff. I turn around again. He's standing in the same position. This huge fucking head. And I'm like, I'm scared of those guys. They are, spooky. Grays. So I don't know if you believe that or not, but I saw it. And I'm thinking, why are you around? I should ask you that. Can you ask, why was an alien spying on me?
I'm not as in tune with the outer. I'm more in with the other worlds. I don't know why. I don't know, Bren, if you are. Oh, Azrael, there we go. That was supposed to be for you. There we go, Azrael.
Yeah, I think it's because that's what you can associate with. I don't think you believe, not that you believe in other entities like the demonic,
No, I'm a Starfleet.
any dark stuff like that. So I think the association with the unknown, the spiritual world, leads you to seeing the grays. And I believe the grays, can also represent a higher version of yourself, which you yourself are not in tune with, quite yet. So you need to identify it, maybe correspond with it, instead of questioning it. Why is it spying on me? Who are you to me? Maybe ask it a question, and don't speak it verbally. Maybe use the mind and speak it to it, because it might be your higher version of you that's actually looking at you, looking towards you and actually trying to get a grasp and understand who you are as the individual. And as you look at Brent, picked up the card.
Mm,
Because if you, I don't know if
mm.
the camera will pick it up, but if you look at the Hierophant, it kind of looks like Azrael in a way.
So so that, I think that's Iana, that's what you probably need to do is maybe talk to it, and delve into it because I've seen all type of beings, and trust me, I've been seeing beings since 12 years old, um,
Oh, like me. I've been
and
seeing things at that age too.
mhm.
I was
you know,
actually terrorized by them at a young age.
hey
I've always
Sean,
been fearful of them, so I know what happened. I know why I blocked it off.
mhm. So that's probably what you need to do is just maybe connect with it with the mind because I'm
No,
pretty sure if
I
you're
asked it.
able
I
to
did
see
ask
it.
it.
It
I
wants
said,
to be
"What are you
seen, but the thing
doing
about it is, you making a connection one on one, making that connection one on one with it, and perhaps get some input directly from it, because it's allowing you to visualize it and see it. And if you feel intimidated, maybe that's what you need to do is ground yourself and actually take full control and say, you know what, I see you. You cannot scare me. Can you tell me, what do you want from me? Are you a version of me, or are you trying to give me a hint? Because most of us here, most of us are code breakers. In other words, individuals get downloads, individuals get the information. A lot of individuals got the information, but they need code breakers, and some are code breakers, and some actually have the codes. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's giving you the information. You're actually going to become a code breaker, and you need to decipher it. And the only way for you to decipher this information is for you to use your mental mind and connect with them. And I'm still thinking about Brent showing me
No,
that card.
no,
But I hope that helps. Go
no.
ahead.
No, I was. I presented to you like spying on me. I didn't say anything to him, but I thought to myself, "What are you doing here?" But it didn't respond to that because I've been like you. I've been doing this all my life, and I've dealt with a lot of things, lot of fucking things. So
Well, the
it's
answer,
not
the
me.
answer, sorry, but the answer might be there. In other words, it might not be it verbally.
It
When you're
disappeared.
connected
It
to it,
disappeared.
look around your surroundings, and it might be in a book. The first book that you pick up, it might say something in there. It might be something around you that
Yeah,
might
it's
be,
like
because sometimes
yeah,
the vocal cord, it doesn't exist in this communication, and it's going to come down to something that resonates. Whether it's a bird flying by, a plane flying by, individuals walking by, they say something that actually resonates to the question that you ask. So it's
yeah,
be aware. Be aware of the surroundings and allow yourself to communicate. Because the thing about it, I'm leaning to it might be a higher version of yourself. It might be a spirit guide that you need to connect with, and it's really not spying on you, but it was probably projected by you in order to watch over you. If that makes sense, so it's something that you actually
yes,
projected to watch
yes.
over you.
It
Go ahead.
was. You confirmed it because I spoke to my guides today, and I'm like, "What was that?" And they said, "Don't feel threatened. He's there to join us, basically." So, and I said, "But he didn't say anything. Why didn't he say anything? Maybe he just wants to see, for you to see him. That's it." But that's all they told me. But of course, if you have guides, they don't tell you anything unless you ask. If you don't ask, they don't say nothing. At least mine, all my life. And why didn't you tell me? You didn't ask. And what the hell? You always have to ask. Always. So,
And that's the misconception a lot of us do. Like me, I learned a lot of my mistakes where I was thinking things out, and I never really asked or really expressed myself. But the thing
yeah.
is have the awareness, because all of us coming together, there's a reason that we all come together, even here on the panel, down there in the comments, or in another life. It's we are gaining awareness, and you have to listen. Don't ever act on action. Listen to what people are saying, because within that, you're going to have that aha moment. That aha moment is going to answer something that you've been looking for, the answer. So, number one, like I stated, make the connection with it. Allow it to know that you see it. Once you see it, you're receiving an answer, but the answers might not come directly from what you're seeing as the alien, or the gray that you stated. It's going to come around the surrounding. It might come in a dream, or stuff like that. But I'm going to yield. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hello, Hooded And thank you. Ah, yes, the dark
You can
goddesses.
step down if you want. You don't need to bring me up here. I can step down if you want to let somebody else. Thank you, guys.
So
Thank you, and
I
again.
wanted to
Namaste.
read the
Namaste is how you
three
say
that
that.
came out
Love
for
it.
the dark goddesses
Thank
for
you.
that. The first one that came out, the goddess that's in power, is Pandora, curiosity. So the current moment, be open to what is there. And the way that curiosity is, it's innocent. It wants to know. It's open. But the thing with Pandora and what caused her to make the mistake of opening the box is that the curiosity became to a point where it blinded her into doing something. Be open, but then know to when you get to that limit. Because at the current moment, having that curiosity of like, what's this, what's this, what's this, it can make you dwell into something too deep that it's something that's not really there, but it can go into a giant rabbit hole. And we must seek out, I'm going to probably mispronounce her name, Arnemcha, for integrity. For that, I'm getting, you must always seek out your own personal integrity, meaning that this is what I see, this is what I feel, and this is what I'm sticking with. So going with that curiosity, but then knowing that this is what I see, this is what resonates with me, having that foundation of this is the experience that I'm having, and not letting another experience pull me left, pull me right, pull me up, may pull me doing backflips. It can even also be that curiosity pulling you in directions where it doesn't need it to go, and it goes against your integrity. But having the integrity of the self is the most important thing to make sure that is being sought out and understood. But the one you mustn't forget is Hecate for protection. You mustn't forget that in all aspects of life, from the beginning all the way up until the end, you have the means to ensure your safety and protection is at play. And if you also happen to have two pets, it could be two canines, two cats, two birds. The number 2 is significant. Having 2 animals will be able to also help protect and ensure that your integrity and your curiosity is perfect, is balanced with itself. Curious enough to go towards something to better understand it, but then also to have the integrity of the self to know when enough's enough. And that's at least what I get for that.
Thanks, Bren. All right, Brenda, you did ask a question. I did not forget about you, girl. So, just making sure. Yep, good. You're still there. So, okay, your question was, should you cut your hours for work? So I've been shuffling for you if you need to cut your hours. I'm doing Lenormand. We got to the tree. Sorry. We got 7. 7 again. All right. So work is your foundation. It's your roots. All right. It is like we think about it. Trees give us everything. They give us life. They give us breath. They give us grounding, right? They bring us passion because we love our trees. So based on this, yes, the tree is saying you need to be grounded and rooted, and it may not necessarily be in work. So I'm going to pull you a second card. Your second card is dog. You are very loyal at your job. And the whip. Yes, you're supposed to cut your hours. So yes, cut your hours. Give yourself that enlightenment that you need. Welcome. Bren got something. We're laughing. We're we got another 7.
Well, I'm pulling from the dark goddesses, so I mean, so far, I mean,
we're on the 7. Like, so I know you got some 7s in something that you got.
well, I'll just have to discount the names. Actually, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, so the 3 that I pulled, the goddess that's in power, I'm gonna probably mispronounce her name, is it's Papalotti, and her word is purification. So in power right now, It's this need to purify one's standing and restaurate one's state. Going through to say what needs to stay, what doesn't need to stay, what should go, what doesn't need to go. And in order to purify something, you may have to go towards something that may bring you discomfort. So it could be even putting in like the reduction of hours to a supervisor, because when you have a worker coming to you and you're a supervisor and they're requesting you to have less hours, that can bring an uncomfortable situation for the worker to do. But still, at the end of the day, you have to seek out. This is why I was giggling. You have to seek out love. That's why I was giggling.
Oh, we were getting her all last week too.
Well, she's back again. And well, I mean, when we seek out love, a lot of people think of her from that one aspect of woozy woo, but no. If anything, seeking out the fairness for primarily yourself, but then also being able to take a stand for yourself. Like say, if you're having hours be reduced for work, is for you to enjoy more time to yourself. That is fair. Because if you've invested in a company for a long period of time, you should have that right to say, I need time for myself at any time ever.
And that's where your loyalty, the dog coming up, you need to be loyal to yourself. Loyal to yourself first and foremost. Yep.
And then that was the last card that came out, Chang'e, for obsession. And you mustn't forget obsession. Now you're thinking, obsession? I can't forget to obsess? Well, what's another word for obsession? Commitment, devotion, honoring. You mustn't forget to honor yourself and honor the commitment to yourself, which is, well, when you're here on Earth, you should enjoy it as much as you can. Of course, there's times where it's going to be challenging and strifeful, but enjoying every second for yourself is something that everybody should do. Of course, sometimes people have to go through a bit of struggle, but devoting to yourself and your well-being has to be that priority number one.
Yep.
Hey, that is perfectly fine. If you're lowering time to be with your husband, you have that right. That's your other half.
Family is a lot more important than jobs.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Follow what the heart desires.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Having that bond is always like, yeah, you have to have that bond, whether it's with your spouse, whether it's with parents or siblings or children or grandchildren. Like it's family is always it's most important, and family can sometimes be friends too, so keep that in mind, because sometimes we have really close friends that we are very bonded to.
And the highest of karma, at least according to Vedic, the highest of karma that anybody can do in life, the highest form of service that you can do, is with a marriage with someone. That is the highest form of karma, for having that unionship of two coming together to walk this life together as one. You're making that commitment to say, I'm sticking with you until the end of this life. And making that choice of seeing other as you, that clears a lot of the karmic log together.
And also, when you're with somebody, you're going to be retired with them, so you need to make sure you can handle them when you guys aren't working. You know, if you guys liked hiking when you were young, are you still going to want to hike? If you liked going to the movies, you need to make sure you still have that. And as we also grow and evolve, sometimes our interests shift too. And so you need to make sure that your interests shift and that you still have something. Mm-hmm. You need to be yourself, and you still need to be with that person. Yes. Thank you. We reached the live goal. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Brenda, so much. It looks like it was you. You're giving us. So thank you, everybody who's giving gifts. And we're at 7,000 likes. Please feel free to give me some more hearts, because those help add up so that we can give you guys more fun readings, because we do love doing readings. It is Tuesday Tarot. You've got Bren, Azriel, and myself, Rowan, here. And live every Tuesday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we go until my phone dies, which tonight will not happen because I charged my battery, or until questions kind of dwindle or we get tired, whichever comes first. So I know Sunday we had to go because like my charger had died. My charger had uncharged. So Azrael, anything you want to add? Because I know we've kind of, like Brent and I have kind of been
Well, I do want to add that in the background, I was actually playing around with my labyrinth cards, and the first card that I picked out was the Seven of Pose, which is the Seven of Wands. No lie, no lie. I put it back in the box, because these are hard for me to read because I don't know the picture. And the first card that I picked out, kid you not, was that here, and it's true, here. You see, I know by the seven up top, and then I was like, this is the seven opposed, which is wands.
That card came out earlier, didn't it? Yeah, it did. But now it's upright.
Yep, now it's upright. We keep getting seven. We have been getting sevens now 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
Gotta love it. Seven is here. Seven is wisdom and spirituality, folks. That's like part of it. So we are all growing, and we had that solar eclipse, which was supposed to start bringing us wisdom. So full moon is coming up. We're getting into a whole new cycle now. So I'm excited for full moon. So I'm always excited for moon rituals.
Yes. And that's like we were talking about, that's the best calendar to go with because, once you can confirm and know when the new moon or the full moon is going to come in, you feel that energy. You feel that energy. You're drawn to it. How many times I look at the sky just to confirm and know, I might be all out of whack and you could spin me 100 times. All I have to do is, oh, okay, I know where I'm at. Just by looking at the moon, I know what season or what day I'm at, But it's definitely very powerful. And you know what? I was thinking about it, Rowan. Maybe one day we should do a live ritual here.
Oh, we could. We could do one.
Yeah. I dropped my airplane.
Maybe in the forest. So maybe we get, yeah, because actually, Azrael, you were at a couple. So sometimes we do rituals in the forest, and we have literally had where the deer, like, I think you were at this one. We were like, we all just like stood still because like this doe literally walked where we had cast our circle. And we were just like, oh, let's hold still. She's joining us. She's joining us. We're all like, don't move. So yeah, we have, yep. Yes. If you do this, the deer will think you're another deer. So it's kind of fun because they will get pretty close to you. So nature is so beautiful. Even when we had the cicadas last year, I left one ritual. I had cicadas all over because I was literally in a forest preserve and they were just, it was their space, and I came out, my husband's like, you've got cicadas in your hair and all over your back. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I hope they didn't get smashed because like I had driven home, and he's like, no, they're fine.
And the moon were to be, or the full moon will be in Libra, but specifically in the part of Libra that is known as Swati. Now, Swati is symbolized by a blade, like a sword, but also a blade of grass that is swaying in the wind back and forth. So that's definitely an indication of, if you have any ideas that you want to be projected outward, like attracting like your business towards you, or just getting a message out there, tomorrow's full moon will be the perfect time to express something, because Swati is the wind. When you express something to the wind throws it. And it's also a part of Libra where Swati is about seeing a high goal and striving to climb that mountain and moving as fast as possible just to get it. But the issue with Swati, though, is that it's don't bite more than you can chew, but if you have that idea, dream big, but don't move too fast towards it. And also speaking out loud and letting other people know that you need help with it, or you have an idea, because you'll have a lot more reach with it.
Yes, I saw hooded. So what the deer think is they think this is ears. So you can literally get close to them. Make sure you don't have anything that's loud and clingy. Sometimes I've had like my keys in my hand and I've gone like this and the keys will make sound. But yeah, you want to make sure there's not sound. But yeah, they think that that's that you're a deer, and they're like, oh, it's okay, it's a deer. It is pretty cool. But yes, that's what they think. So it's always neat.
And it's interesting you say that too, because there is a point in the end of Taurus into Gemini, and there's also the heart of Scorpio, and then the end of Scorpio. Those 4 points that I said, they're tied and associated with the deer. The end of Taurus, beginning of Gemini, that is known as Miksara, which is symbolized by the deer's head, and it's also the innocent deer. It's the deer that is pursuing something, and it's associated with Parvati, who is the Lord Shiva's wife. So it's an innocent energy that is seeking out something, but it can also attract because it's being youthful and innocent. But then when we get to the Scorpio side with the heart of Scorpio, Anuradha and Jeshta, now Anuradha is where my Venus is at, because why not? Anuradha is that pure devotion, that pure love towards something that is intense. So the element of deer is that purity, but it's also that commitment. Because usually with deer is that when they go and have like their I just simply lost my train of mind because my mind's wanting to go to the next part. But for Jeshta, as it being associated with the deer, Jeshta, despite being the eldest sister, she's the one that is the most sensitive to things that are happening around her. Since she is the eldest one, the chief, if something is off-kilter, she's the first to jump and call it out and keep things in line. That's why it's associated with the deer. And also, Jeshta being the eldest, is that the deer is also associated with like the heritages and the olden ways. Well, the Druid work. There that is. So yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Oh, thank you so much. So thank you, Hooded. That means a lot to all of us here. So and thank you everybody for the gifts and for the likes. We're at 7,000. So yay, we might hit 10,000. So please feel free to give us the hearts. So that's always nice.
You know what? I like what Bren just shared regarding the deer, because how everything comes together. Full circle. How everything's interconnected. How we were talking about it, and how Bren associated with this time right now. It's unbelievable. How everything just happens and it flows.
And even also, if you want to be even more technical, another alternative animal for Anuradha, at least, is the rabbit. And because the rabbit, usually when you see, and it's specifically a white rabbit, of course rabbits are the most active, the best put it, species of mammals, but at the same time they what was that word I'm looking for? They tend to get a bit, what's that word? I don't want to say envious, because envious has a darker connotation, but when they get mad, they lift their front or back legs and just go. And Anuradha, although it is a devoted heart of Scorpio, the devoted part, Anuradha can get a bit like, because when they see like the energy of Anuradha, if you have like say Venus there, if somebody is speaking with your significant other, and if you have a feeling that that person's trying to take them from you, you can get a bit pushy. I'll admit it. I've felt that many times. But that energy of kind of pouting is with Anuradha. Why are you messing with my devoted one? That's mine. Yep. That's that same energy.
Beautiful, beautiful. Oh, you never know what you get when you stop by here. So just as a reminder, I'm live Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thursday is a spiritual panel. So, and it is the planet Mars. We're going to be talking about all of the elements with Mars, and also, like, of course, we've got to throw the astrology in there too, but how we can work with it in our life, how we can incorporate it, and how to not be scared of Mars. So, and then Sunday, and I've got the book right here. I just happen to have tarot decks on top of it, is chapter 3 discussion of the anatomy of the spirit with Carolyn Miss. And if you missed last Sunday's, we had like a beautiful discussion. So chapter 3 will be this Sunday. And always you can follow my Patreon, which is one of the links in my bio, because I replay any of these in Patreon, also on YouTube. And YouTube, my channel is Triple Goddess Apothecary and Reiki. Yeah, I have to have the long name. Have to get it all in there. And the kitchen sink.
Can you give us a recap? A brief recap of the last two. Because you're talking about Mars on Thursday, correct?
Right. Yes.
And the prior two were, for those that weren't around.
Yes, we did the sun before the partial solar eclipse, and then last week we did the moon. So we talked about the sun and the moon. And so if you did miss it, they will be on YouTube and Patreon. I believe they're about a week behind, maybe 2 weeks behind, because I didn't decide to start posting them until after, like, it had been at least a week after. So, but yeah, you can watch replays at any time on my Patreon or my YouTube.
Are you going by like the days of the week? Because it is kind of like that. First one was sun. The next that was for Sunday. Next is moon. That's for Monday. Tuesday is for Mars. And that's the next one.
I did. Well, we had the solar eclipse, and new moon was the same day. But I was like, oh, we got to play gratitude, But Mars I picked because it's Aries, and Aries is associated with Mars, and I'm. Yep. So yes. So, and I'm thinking of doing Mercury after that.
Yep. Then next would be Jupiter. Then after Jupiter would be
but it
Venus
just kind of
Saturn,
fell into place because the first three I was like, well, we have to do Mars because we're in Aries.
Yeah. And I'll even say too, Mars is, me personally, not one of my favorite planets, but I have been surprised about, like, with Mars. Yeah, Mars is a natural masculine planet, but that doesn't mean that you can't have an energy of, like, say, if we're going to be talking about specific deities, that doesn't mean you can't have a goddess like Sekhmet for Mars. She's destructive, but at the same time, she's healing at the same time. Mars is a fighter, but he's also the surgeon that goes in and cuts off and then sews things back up again. Sekhmet's the same way. Destroys, but then rejuvenates after her destruction. And how she was believing to be drinking red fluid, but it turned out to be wine. And that's how she was subdued. That stills that same energy. Mars has dominion over the red fluid, but so does the moon. Because the moon is water, and that fluid flows like water. And funny enough, moon is vampiric because of that. When you have moon and Mars together, you have somebody able to be a phlebotomist.
Yes, Hooded, we do all have masculine and feminine energy in us. Yes. The goal is to balance it. As a matter of fact, when I teach tarot, I teach, so when we usually get a card like the king or the knight or the page or the queen or the hierophant, or, when we get a card that shows like a male or a female on it, I always stress that, and for a couple reasons. One, to respect all genders. I say masculine or feminine energy. And you know what? I have my sister, I'm going to use her as an example. She has so much masculine energy. she always has. So sometimes, like when I get a female card pop up, and I know, like I know in the reading, I'll be like, oh, that's my sister, you know. So I might get like the Page of Wands. I'll be like, yep, that's my sister, you know. So it doesn't necessarily mean gender; it means masculine or feminine energy. So I like to stress that when we're working with tarot. But yes, to be perfect, we should have a balanced feminine and masculine energy. And that doesn't always happen. There are days sometimes I'm like way too masculine, and then there's days I'm too feminine. And actually I laugh because my significant other, my beautiful husband, he's the same too. There are days, like the other night I'm watching something that you would think I was watching The Italian Job, and he was watching a total chick flick. He was watching oh my gosh, it was a total chick flick. I hadn't seen it for a long time, and I just started laughing. He's like, "Why are you laughing?" I'm like, when you're watching something that you'd think would be a manly movie, I'm watching a chickie flick, and vice versa. It's just really funny. But it is funny how like they can balance, and how that energy can actually balance even between roommates too.
And I've also, like, even another example, like, say you have, and I'm actually going to be using my Lilith deck to explain this, but for example, I don't have my Enchantress of Pyra, but the Enchantresses are the kings, and the kings are the natural fire energy. So when you have, say, for an example, the Enchantress of Flora, this is like the King of Pentacles. So in a way of looking at it is that it's the energy of that initiative, but it's more on taking initiative to provide a secure environment. Is that initiative or that willpower to provide stability. But when we take a look at it, say, with the Enchantress, which would be the King of Swords or King of Arrow, you now have the willpower of thought, and using that energy of zest to provide that clear thinking, and then acting, and then discerning. But with like the Enchantress of Hemo, now you have the energy of fire and then the energy of water. So now you're having the zest of emotion. And funny enough, when you take it and invert it with like the Maven of Pyre, you're now having the zest of the motherly nourishment, or the emotions are starting to get some life to them. And even when you also have like the Quayon of Pyre, you have the fire and air coming together. So you're having the willpower now with the intellect, but it's also this swift moving energy at the same time. But when you have it like in its own element, the Quayon of Arrow, you're having air and air. So you're having the pure air energy coming into play. So that would be like a night bow. And the pages, like say you have the Maiden of Flora, you have the most earthy representation of the energy. So it's double earth. So you're having that young, down to earth, the most closest to earth energy at play. It's feminine, but then also the earth energy is like, I would say, like a secondary feminine element, and the air would be like a secondary masculine element. But still, nonetheless, it's still that, it's like understanding all the elements and how each court card has its foundational element, and then when you put it in different elements, it expresses itself in that element. So the page, the natural earth, is now with the air element. So having that understanding of like my words will impact the mundane, as an example.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yep. Azrael, anything to add?
Oh, but I found this in my pictures. I was just listening, and then I thought I'd share. It's pretty cool.
Why don't you read it?
It says, if a man expects a woman to be an angel in his life, he must first create heaven for her. Angels don't live in hell.
Happy life, happy
Yes.
wife.
And now well, and now here now this is where it comes. Now this is where it can be quite a test, because now when it says need a bill with has to must first create heaven for her. Now here comes the thing that gets overlooked. When it says heaven, it's not only his heaven, it's her heaven too. So you have to ask her, what's your
100.
paradise?
Yes, correct. Yes,
Then
Brent.
bring it.
Yes.
Yeah, that is really great. Thank you, Azrael.
You're welcome. Yeah, I was looking at the pictures because I wanted to change my background, and I was like, oh wow, on Snapchat, they show you like pictures from a year ago or stuff like that, and it was something that I might have had. But that's why I love coming to these lives. Both of you, even though it's not the same identical color, you're both representing that violet purplish color. You know, and that's another synchronicity that you both have, because wearing the charm around your necks with the V-neck, it's almost a reflection. It's a reflection of one another, and uh,
Is that a Lilith pendant by chance?
No, it's actually just my pentagram. I do have a Lilith
Oh,
pendant, but I don't wear it all the time. These are the three that I just don't take off. So
yeah, the one I have on me is my Lilith one.
I actually want to get a Lilith tattoo. So I just have her all the time.
And I mean, I've even been thinking about just getting like the.
Ooh, yeah, the moon.
Mhm.
Yeah, good times. Well, we'll do a couple more questions. If anybody has any questions, it is Tuesday Tarot. We are pulling cards. You can say general, or if you actually have a specific question. So I'll give it a minute and see if anybody wants us to pull cards. Because that's kind of that's the fun part, is like,
and here's another fun part. Maybe you guys in the comment maybe share with one of your friends and have them have a card read. Share the live. And maybe we'll get some more individuals, because we do want to get Rowan up there in the leagues, because the higher we go in the leagues, the more individuals will actually be able to join in, and the fun actually gets a lot more better because we get a lot of more questions. Not saying that the questions that we've been hearing thus far are neglected, but it's good to get all aspects. Yeah, here we go, Prince Charmer.
yes. Hello, do you have a question, Prince? We'll give you a reading. I know we had a lot of people for book club on Sunday, but let's see if we can do better than book club Sunday. Matter of fact, book club Sunday we hit 20,000 hearts. We're at 8K. Come on, we can get to 10.
Good evening, Chris Charmer. We're reading one card tarot readings. You can either ask the question in the comments or our general reading. If you would like to partake, all you got to do is just put your question there in the comments, or just ask for general if you're open to it.
Yep. Yeah, and if you're just here to watch, that's totally fine too. If anybody else has a question or wants a general reading, please feel free. I know there's looks like 7 of you guys here. So, or if you just have like a question that you just want to ask that's not a tarot question, because we have, we kind of do a free for all right now, but hey, at some point it will be question after question after question. So, so feel free if you just even have a question. With all of us here, we are in the spiritual community. If you're not familiar with us, don't forget to follow us. But we all have like quite a bit of specialty. So we've got quite a bit under the spiritual umbrella. And if we can't answer, we'll help you. Star seeds. I've done a little bit with the star seeds. I will do it as a spiritual topic on a Thursday. It will be probably after I do all the planets. So right now we're going through the planets. Mars will be this week. We've done Sun and Moon. But yes, I will, because star seeds, that is going to be a whole topic. So, but yes, star seeds are kind of fun to talk about too. So, yep. But yes, if it's something simple, we can answer. We'll simply answer it. But I know like some stuff is a little more. I mean, like we can even do. Oh, there we go. Is Ash gonna get back with Weavy? Okay, all right. We've got a love question. Look at that. I was supposed to have this deck. Okay, is Ash gonna get back with Weave Me?
It says with me.
With me? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Get back with me. It's alpha, I think. So. Ooh. We got the unalive card. So this is a rebirth card. This is a change card. So this particular card, we have the Phoenix who has risen from the ashes. We see all this light here. And so with this, you are growing and you're on a journey. It's a new journey. So you literally are reborn. I'm going to pull another card, but Bren, I'm going to let you, because I know you're going too. Ooh.
Death card. But hey, now here's the thing. Just because it's the death card, that doesn't mean it's bad.
No, it doesn't.
Because you need to have, well, look at it this way. In order for something to grow into something better, the foundation has to fall.
Yeah.
So that way something new can come. So in order to better understand, we got to know what caused this to happen.
Yep. So there's that change.
So Seven of Swords is what's caused the ending to happen. So that something like a little bit of like not taking something seriously and kind of being like a jester. Possibly a figure was not really taking this seriously. Well, that's kind of a weird way of putting it, but so if you have the clown, the Clune, going prancing off with the swords, here comes the Black Knight coming in and squishing him. So that figure, possibly it could be either you or the other party, and having that realization that, oh wait, maybe that wasn't a good idea. Maybe I should have taken something more seriously. So after when getting that, I'll just say the transformation coming from this core gesture getting squished, from that Seven of Swords being transitioned out of what it was, its new face is, well, there you have the Princess of Cups, which is the Page of Cups. So it's that.
I pulled the Three of Coins, so there's work that has to be done.
Mm-hmm.
Agree.
I agree.
And
that Three of Pentacles too, I think isn't it depicted as like he's like using a blueprint and drawing something? Yes. And that does go in line with the Princess of Cups because that's earth and water. So it's having that re-establishment of the emotions to it. And in this depiction, the woman is kind of like taking a gasp back, like, oh, so maybe this can actually work out. So that can possibly be even that figure in the Seven of Swords that got squished, and maybe it's that restoration that brings the connection back to life.
And Azrael's got one for us, and that's cool.
Yeah. I got the Eight of Feathers, which is actually the Eight of Swords, and that means there needs to be clarity. In other words, there might be something, Prince Charmer, that you guys need to communicate with, and I think you need to be very open and actually start communicating, because there needs to be some clarity. And I think what's holding the connection between both of you is the lack of communication. You know, there is a necessary moment where you need to look within yourself, and actually once you look within yourself, you know exactly what you need to do. And if it's something that of change, you need to change it. You need to change it, but you have to be very open with Asha. Yes, and all these cards are reflecting to
All
it.
of them. It's
Just
all
like, yes,
reflecting.
yes, they're all together confirmations.
We're such a good team. Sorry. I mean, all of that's there. It's got to be worked for. Yep. It's all there.
I have to start digging in my closet. If you look at my closet, you know what? As a matter of fact, to show you that I'm not kidding, hold on. Let me show you my closet. I've been here for a year and maybe 2 weeks now. Hold on. And I'm still not unpacked.
It's hard to unpack. It's hard to move.
So I still got boxes of boxes of stuff. You know,
Yep. It's hard to move.
and this is my living room. And I still haven't unpacked because I don't know if I, really content here because there are spirits here. I'm next to the cemetery, so But I've been here a year now. But I dropped the headphones, but I need to start digging.
Yes. Yeah, that's the hard part with moving. Like it is hard and especially like when you're like, "Oh, is this where I need to be?" Yes, and sometimes the spirits do interfere with your ability to go on TikTok. All right.
The thing about it, we talk about it, especially like you mentioned, Roman in spiritual alchemy. Like anything else, we have to release the stuff that doesn't serve us. And I'm realizing that, you know what, I'm very content with the minimal that I have. I have my pet, I have food, I have work, I have a home under my, over my head. So I don't really need to dig through it because I even have another closet with stuff here and another one over there. And I haven't took out everything, but you know what? I can actually be mobile, move around and be content. I don't miss really nothing that's in that closet. I have the clothes that whatever I need. But yeah, Prince Charmer, these cards that were read here, I don't know if it resonated with you, but they all are collaborating. They all let you know the picture of it. And I think it starts with you.
Mhm. Yep.
And I just had an urge to also just pull the same cards from Tarot Apocalypse, and I'm just trying to find out where that death card is, because in this deck it would be presented a little bit differently, but at the same time I think the message will still have the same core foundation, but another perspective with it. If I can just find out where it's at, come on. So up there.
Brent, so the death card, would that be associated with like calcination? Like
I would look at it this way, because in this version of the Seven of Swords, you have one individual in the back working, investing, putting in the hard work for the connection. Then you have a child on the other side with all the blades that are made, all the work that's been done. And he's kind of being all, don't tell him I'm doing this. And funny enough, the moon is an eclipsed moon in the background at the very top. So that can show possibly there may have been a party or somebody involved that was putting in a lot of work and the other acted without really thinking. And because of that, that caused the connection to be given that death incident. But for this deck, the death card is Santisima Muerte, and when she pops up, at least for me, I see that as you having to not only face the reality and the truth of yourself, but then the other person. Because the way that energy works, it doesn't discriminate. Everybody will kick the bucket eventually. So it's coming to that realization of if you made the mistake, admit the mistake, accept the mistake, and then move forward on what comes from it. But then the next card that comes from it is the Princess of Cups. And in this deck, this is, I believe this is Persephone in this deck. So with Persephone now, although depending on the variation of the tale, the tale of her being taken. Now, again, if there's an incident at all, if somebody came in and then took your love interest or deceived them into leaving you, this can be an indication that possibly you may have that opportunity to bring them back. Possibly. At least that's how I'm seeing with this deck. But still, the Seven of Swords is showing that there was some action done that was not clearly thought out. There might have been a misstep or a wrong choice that caused the connection to split. But because of the Princess of Cups in both decks, one is being kind of taken off guard and the other one is being more in tune with the connection that it is now. It does show that there is that rejuvenation on the mundane that can take place, but when you approach it, be more like an innocent child towards it, like if it's completely brand new. At least that's what I see with both of them.
Very beautiful. It all comes, it syncs. All of it has sunk together. So synchronicities. All right.
Good evening, Lois. We're doing one card tarot reading. If you want to partake, you can put a comment down there, or if you have a question, or just a general. And you're welcome, Prince Charmer.
To be so different. Okay.
Aries, Sun.
Leo, Sun, Aries, Rising, Capricorn, Moon, Vedic. It's Cancer, Pisces, Sagittarius. Is it normal? Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And both systems work just as well. Mm-hmm. But the thing is that with tropical, that is best used to see how your nature is. Nature is behavior. And tropical was originally yielding from Vedic, but it had to be in sync with the seasonal cycle.
Yes.
And that tropical is used to predict the weather and also track the mating cycles of animals as well, and to see their behavior. Now, Vedic is more along the lines of showing the karmic life cycle you're going through, and they have the divisional charts that you look at for that. So yes.
So I'm observing we're close to 10,000. Come on, everybody, let's tap. Please.
Yes, I was just thinking the same thing. We're very close. Come on, show everybody that was here Sunday. We got 20, so 20K. So let's at least get up to 10. Let's show Sunday people that we can do it on a Tuesday.
And I don't know why I just got this message that just popped in my head. I'm just going to roll with it. Whenever you're reading the tarot, one of the most easiest things that anybody can do, and it's so simple to do, is when you pull out a stereotypically deemed negative card, you automatically think bad.
Yes, a lot of people do. A lot of time it means there's a change coming.
Mm-hmm.
And, those changes are not necessarily going to be really bad. They might feel that way at first, but a change is always good. It means we have a new journey coming for us. And sometimes you may not see it that way because you might be like, oh my gosh, everything's not going how I want it to. But when we're ready, everything presents itself. But yeah, I used to always go, oh, I got that one. But, every year at the beginning of the year, and actually, Azrael, you attended one of my workshops where I did this. At the beginning of the year, I do it either on New Year's Eve or on New Year's Day. I do a pull of all of the year. So I do 12 cards like a clock. So I start where the 1 is January, and I go all the way through to December, being in the 12 spot. And the middle, I put the theme for the year. And I will tell you, even when I've gotten the Tower card or the Unalive card, it's always like that month, I'm able to go, oh, okay, I get it now. I get it. It always makes sense when it happens. Like, all right, I had this change. This was a change. It was an unexpected change, but it's okay. So you do have to look at it I guess I get in that mindset, Bren, where and Azrael, I get in that mindset of, okay, all right, this is a change, because they are a change.
Yep, because like with the tower card, it's a change that comes out of nowhere and it's heavy. And then the other one, the kicking the bucket card, well, that one, it's like a ending that's gentle,
Yes.
very easy going.
Yeah,
And like,
when you look at this one, that looks very gentle compared to the Rider-Waite. I'm going to find the tower in here too.
Yep, and even also with the Three of Swords in both decks, one does have the heart in it, but with this depiction, and now this is what I like to say with like any of the decks that have like a heart and of it being pierced. Now, in this Three of Swords, this depiction does have the red fluid coming off, so this can also show that despite being in emotional pain and suffering, you're still standing.
Oh, I just want to update. We're at 10,004 4Ks, 10.4. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much, everyone. I'm looking in this deck for the tower. I'm going to also, if I see the Three of Swords, I'm going to pull it too.
It's definite, those cards that you're talking about, because it does show, let's per se, we're going one way and then we do an abrupt turn to the left. So, it's changed. So it's basically, you have to have salutation, Sigma. Nice to see you down there. We're doing one card pull readings, whether it's a general reading or a question readings. Also, thank everybody for 10.5K likes. Thank you again, everyone.
Yes, thank you, thank you. Oh, I think we lost Bren. I'll see if he's still here.
Yeah, I think we lost him unknowingly. I don't think he knew.
Yeah, because he's still there. I am actually trying to find the tower, and I wonder if I went past it without knowing it.
Yeah, Rowan, you might have to send an invite to him.
I did, so maybe
Okay.
he's still there. Yeah, I invited him, so maybe he needed a little break. I don't know. We'll give it a second and see if he shows back up. Oh, there's my tower. So here's this tower. And I mean, it does look a little scary, but at the same token, because of all the purple and blue in it, it's like, okay, I can do this. But yes, we do get those cards can be they can be scary, but they're not super scary to where we need to be like, so yes, so we are doing card readings. If you have like a question that you just really want answered, please feel free to put it in the chat, or you can type general. So I'm here every Tuesday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time doing Tuesday Tarot. Thursday is spiritual panel. This week will be the planet Mars. And Sunday is Witchy Book Club, and we're doing The Anatomy of the Spirit by Carolyn Miss. We'll be on chapter 3. Yes, this is my favorite deck. It's the Shadowscape Tarot. I actually have 2 of them because my box is falling apart, and sometimes tarot cards go out of print, and I was like, so I have one in my upstairs, and I'm in my basement. My basement is my witch cave. So but yes, it's a beautiful deck. I'm a huge purple person, but the artwork just really resonated with me, so I do love this artwork. And I have I have so many tarot decks. That's like the worst thing is when I go into any shop that sells tarot, I have to blindfold myself, or I will get a new one. And actually I'll be doing a live unboxing of the In Between Tarot. It's my new deck. So it's going to be on my lunch break one day this week. So something to kind of look forward. It'll just be spontaneous, hey, check out the cards. So, My base is hen den. Yes, that's what I call it, my witchy cave. My husband doesn't like how cool it is in the basement, and I love how cool it is in the basement. So, we have our thing. I'm like, I'm fine with this. This makes me happy. So, hey, you know what? We all have to just find our happiness and our peace in our life and go with that. That's our self-love. Thank you, everybody, for all the hearts. We're at 11.4K. Azriel, do you want to share what your live is going to be this week, or have you not taught, or if you just want to say what time it is?
I exactly what what I call it.
We're kind of losing you. We'll get your bars are low.
Okay, let me see.
Almost.
Let me try over.
See, it's hard. See, it's almost midnight. The spirits are like coming to hang out with you. I think I should change it to my dragon den instead. Ooh, yes, Sigma. Make it your dragon den. Yeah, I call mine my witchy cave. So, Azrael's, I think you're still trying to find bars. Oh, there we are. I think you're good.
Okay, testing. 1 2 1 2. Yeah, so basically, it's not a continuance of last week's life, but it's the nature of reality, and how everything connects and how everything is all in the mind. We can use the mind to manifest a lot of things, and that's going to be 11:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's called the nature of reality. So it's going to be good. I do have a promo out there. It's a lot going on. But a lot of it's based on us and how our conscience, our thoughts can actually be the creation. So it's the thought of power. How we can manifest our dreams by thinking it out. Like we say, we have to go within. And there was a beautiful card that Brent had. That three. I'm not sure if it was the three of swords. What he had. No, it was actually it was the seven of swords. He was showing the seven of swords with that sun. That sun that was there. It was a dark sun. And basically, I believe that that's what we have within ourselves. It's a inner verse, which is a dark sun, and basically we can put out through that portal within, and our thoughts and our actions manifest into this world. It's deep. It's deep, and I think the connection between the sun, people talk about the sun that's over us is a portal. I believe that we can connect through that portal within ourselves to manifest it through that portal to bring it into reality. If that makes sense to you.
No, it does. And actually, so I'm going to tell you, okay, so everybody, my live is at 8:30 and then we leave my live and go to Azrael's live. We're talking about Mars. There's a connection there. I don't want to give it all away because I want everybody to come to the Mars discussion. So, but there's also a connection with the book because she's teaching us that it literally is mind over matter, that we have to get out of our mind to heal our physical self.
And I did make a comment on that on Sunday, when we had that live. It was a beautiful live, but there's so much in this book, and I highly recommend individuals that have not read the book or even stopped by into the live on Sunday nights. We're discussing this. It's going to be chapter 3. There's so much stuff that we talk in this spiritual community. It's in this book, and it's all in one. It's one resource where you have everything, any questions, anything that you want to talk and delve into, whether it's spiritual alchemy or anything. It's within that book.
Yeah, and we had a beautiful discussion on Sunday. And I know some people had not read the book. I literally kind of give you a little summary and then I ask the question. And the question really, because there is a lot of the stuff we talk about in the spiritual community in here. If you haven't read the book, it's okay. If you have, that's even better. You can also join my Patreon, the $5 level. I do a deep dive, wink, wink, of the book. That drops so that you can kind of have an idea of what's going to happen on Sunday. So feel free also. And my Patreon is in my bio. So if you're not following me or Azrael, please make sure you follow me and Azrael. And I know I'm guessing Bren had to go down for the night because I don't see him anymore. So, but yes, he'll probably be here next week too. But I am going to we're going to start to wind down because I do wake up really early. I'm a night/morning owl. Don't ask me how that happens. Like, I'm that person. I just need to get at least a couple hours of sleep. It's really bizarre. So I know there's a few of us out there because some people are morning people and some people are just night people. And then there's us outliers that just do whatever. It's like, well, whatever floats our boats. So, but Azrael, anything else you want to add?
I just want to say thank you so much, for tonight's live. I think I came in a little bit late, but it's because I'm always busy. I'm always working. But a positive affirmation. A quick one. I embrace any challenges because it can actually lead to more growth, and that's something that we can always remind ourselves, to embrace all the challenges that come our way. Don't look at it as like, oh darn it, now it's all over with us. It's a chat, it's an opportunity for us to grow through it. But thank you, Rowan. I appreciate you. Much love and gratitude. Hoping everybody wellness for tomorrow. You guys stay positive, and thank you again. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Azrael, for helping tonight and joining. And I always love having your intuition here too. So, and thank you everybody who is in the comments. I love having all of you guys around. We have such a beautiful spiritual community here on TikTok. If you came in late or if you want to watch the whole thing, it will be posted. It's about a week behind on my YouTube channel and on my Patreon. So you can catch up with videos on either of those spaces. My Patreon is in my bio. So, thank you everybody so much for coming. Thank you so much for all the gifts for myself and for my guests. If I didn't personally thank you, this is my way of saying thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. And thank you. We hit 12.2K hearts. Thank you so much. So I'm going to part this evening with you. So merry meet, merry part, bright blessings, and namaste. Good night.